Welcome to Mom's Work Podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Weinrich, mom of two, teacher, and someone who knows that traveling with kids, no matter how you do it, is never quite as simple as it sounds. Today's episode is all about something so many of us are gearing up for now that it's mid-May, family travel. Whether you're piling everyone into the car for a road trip or navigating airports, security lines, and flights, traveling with kids can certainly feel like a lot, but it can also be really special. Joining me today is Krista Rogic, also known as the Sports PT Mom on Instagram, a wife, physical therapist, mom of four, and someone who has truly mastered traveling with her family by airplane and car too. Krista and I are going to talk today about so many practical real life tips for making travel smoother, and I know this conversation is going to be incredibly helpful for so many of you. Krista, I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so pumped to be here.
I know we're going to have a great conversation. I'd love for you to introduce yourself to our listeners. Tell us about your family, what you do for a living, and your hobbies, all of those good things. Anything you want us to know about you.
All right. So like you said, I have four kids. We are a all-in sports family. My family's slightly unique. I have two kids that are 12 and 10, and then we have a bit of a age gap, and then the younger ones are 4 and 2. So we kind of have a little bit of everything in our family. I'm a physical therapist part-time, and then part-time I plan special events for a Boys and Girls Club locally,
Oh,
and
wow.
then I create content on Instagram.
In your free time.
Um, yeah,
All that
yeah,
free time that you
yeah,
have.
I know, and all the mom free time that you have.
That's right.
Yeah, and I live in New Hampshire, and I hate the cold.
I was
So
going to
it's
say, is it still snowing up there? I mean, it's,
and
mid-May. Is it still
finally the
snowing?
snow has stopped. Thank goodness. We are finally getting like it's still not warm by any means, but it's getting better.
Did you grow up there or are you a
I
transplant?
did.
Okay.
I did. My husband is from New Jersey.
Okay.
I'm from New Hampshire. We met in Rhode Island and we thought we would stay in Rhode Island because we loved it, but we were
Yeah.
constantly going to one family or the other. So finally we're like, we need to pick one of our families to live by. And I was like, there's not a chance in hell I can live in New Jersey. I'm sorry. He was like, I know. We're
Got
moving to
it.
New Hampshire.
Off to New Hampshire we go. Okay. Was
Yep.
it North Jersey or South Jersey? Because that's like
North
apparently a big
Jersey.
thing. It was
Yep.
North.
North Jersey.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
decided.
it's just honestly, there's so many people there, and that sounds awful, but it's just so dense.
Yeah.
And I'm used to New Hampshire where you have some space. Like when you drive to work, like you leave your house, you arrive at work. It's not congestion, it's not craziness. I don't like that.
Yeah, I guess it is a little bit, it was a little bit of a culture shock for you to go from one to the other. So,
Yep.
where are you? Are you up near Maine or down
No,
closer to
Southern
like,
New Hampshire. So
okay.
I'm less than an hour from Boston.
Oh, okay. Okay. So,
Yep.
so you're still kind of, you have a little urban if you need it, but also a
Yes.
little, a little
Yeah,
space
so
as well.
it's nice. We are under an hour from Boston. We're
Okay.
under an hour from the beach, under an hour from the mountains. So
How
you
about
kind
Maine?
of
How far are you from Maine? Like an
an
hour,
hour,
an hour, an hour.
an hour.
You kind of have a little bit of
Utopia.
everything then. That is kind of nice.
Yep,
We
yep.
were, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My parents have a beach house in southern Maine, so that's
Okay.
an hour away. So in the summer times we go
Oh,
up there
yeah.
often. Yeah.
We went to Maine several years ago for a family wedding, and I feel like we left Boston like the second morning. And like, I think it felt like we were through New Hampshire in like 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, an
Yes.
hour in Maine. I was like, well, that
Oh
was
yeah.
pretty. New Hampshire was fun. Okay.
Yep. The coast is like this little
Like a
tiny
little
piece of
tiny,
New
just bloop,
Hampshire.
like right up
We got
95.
some. We got some.
And it was very lovely. I would actually like to spend more time in New Hampshire. So next time I'm there, I'll let you
It
know.
from May till October, it's
It's
beautiful.
really,
Prime.
and then it's cold. And
Yep.
what do you like to do for fun in your spare time?
Oh, my spare time. Well, I do enjoy creating the content for Instagram. So
And you're good
now
at it.
that's
You're
pretty
good at it.
much like what I'm doing a lot in my free time.
Yeah.
And I genuinely love going to my kids' sports. Like I really do. And we always joke that the person who's getting like the break, the day off, is the one that's driving someone to a sport and the other one stays with the toddlers
Yeah.
because both my husband and I love the sports life. So
Oh, so
that's like
you want to
the
be
nice
there.
that, yeah. And then the other one deals with toddler craziness.
Yeah, that's never relaxing. I think you and I had a conversation one time on Instagram about how you were like, "Oh, the parents who don't love sports." And I was like, "That's me." I've talked on here. I've talked on here. I won't keep doing it, but like I'm not a big sports person, but I am loving it for my children. But ooh,
Yep.
that spring baseball, softball schedule. Yowza.
Yeah, it
Um,
gets crazy. It
yeah.
really it and I think the only negative is seeing youth sports go to where it is now, where these teams like you have to play it all year round and I
Traveling,
just
this and
loved when
that.
I was a kid, you played basketball in basketball season. You played
Yes.
softball in softball season.
Yeah.
And now if you want to be like elite, they're like you have to join this team and be year round, and that's what starts to throw me off a bit.
And I know kids who are, at the age of 9 and 10 are taking lessons and they're playing on two or three teams and like good for them. But it doesn't matter to me that they're doing it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. It's a
Yes.
lot of money, it's a lot of time, it's a lot of commitment, it's a lot of, you know, I don't know, but I
Well, and I
guess.
just worry about the burnout too, that it's like you see a lot of kids burn out at young ages because they just played so much when they were younger.
Or you'll hear stories about kids who, like you said, played and played and played and played and played, and they get, their scholarship or their spot on the team in college. And after freshman year, they're like, "Yeah, I'm good." And you're like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, yeah." Like, and they're finished, and you're sort of like, "Okay,
Yep.
understandable." So,
Yeah. And then they're
yeah.
petrified to tell their parents that they're done.
Right, right. And you're like, That's why, yeah, we try to stay. My son likes baseball in the fall and the spring, and then my daughter, she's like, I'll play basketball. I'll play this. I'll play that. I'm like, okay, whatever. So we
Yeah,
do it
that's
for the
great.
fun and the social. And again, like my son is just waiting for the Phillies to call him up. So
Yeah. Oh, any day now.
anytime when they're
Any
looking for
day.
a third grade, first baseman, he's
Yep.
their guy. So
Don't keep that phone on vibrate. Make sure it's on.
no, I have it with me at all times. They could call at any moment. Well, thank you for that introduction. I have a couple more little getting to know you questions. So we'll switch to that. I love this question. What is the best parenting advice that you have ever received?
Ooh, that's a great question. So, in terms of best parenting advice I've received, it would actually be, and this is a shocker for people, from my mother-in-law.
Okay.
So, my mother-in-law, she had four kids. She has nine grandkids at this point. And since they live in New Jersey, they're actually originally from Croatia. So they're
Okay.
foreign. And she'll come up and stay with us for a few days, a couple times a year. So she gets to like kind of be in the mix when she's
Yeah.
with us for a few
Yes.
days.
Nice.
And my older girls were younger, and she said to me at one point, someone was being a pain in the butt about something. And like the typical parent, you give that threat that you're like,
Hmm.
you're not going to the party if you keep this up. And she stopped me and she was like, don't give a threat you're not going to follow through with. And
Yeah.
she said, you're going to go to that party, and you know they're going to that party. And
Yeah.
she said, so do not give something you're not going to follow through with. And I was like, she's totally right. Because
Yeah.
the kid knows I'm going to this party. Like,
Hmm.
you're not going to make me not go to the party.
Right.
So I've always tried to make sure since then that every threat is something I'll follow through with.
And then you have to
And
weigh
then
that. You're like, do I actually want to do, is this something I'm actually willing to do?
right. And then even if it's something as silly as like, you don't get to watch a family movie tonight,
Uh-huh.
it's like, you're not going to do that. Like, do something you're going to
You're
follow
gonna
through with.
do.
If you're going to follow through with that, then fine.
Yeah.
And then she said, and then if they continue, you have to follow through. And so it was like no empty threats.
Yeah.
That was probably the best thing. And I think my kids know, like when we threaten something, like, well,
We
this is
mean it.
business.
We're actually
Yeah,
going to do it. I say that to my kids,
yeah,
I mean it. But
yeah.
you're right because I've heard that before and I often think because I think we're all guilty of it. I give empty threats a lot and then, if I'm like really on one and then I'm like I have to stop because I'll say we're not going to go there. The next time that person calls, you're not going to their house and my husband will be like Kristen, I'm like, I know. So then I have to
I
like
know.
roll it back and be like, okay, here's the deal. But we have had times where like the family was going to the movies and one was behaving in a certain way and I was like you and I are not going and one
Yep.
missed a birthday party one time and and that made an impact. Didn't stop the
Yes,
nonsense, but it makes an impact. So I'm like, so
it
that's,
does. It,
and then they
it,
know when you say it, you mean it.
you're
So
right. You mean business.
yeah, but I think it is hard to not get stuck in that threat because it's just kind of your initial like, then I guess we won't go.
Right,
Like you said, of
right,
course we're going. Of course we're going
right.
because I want to
Yeah.
go.
I know,
So
exactly.
we're going. So get yourself together. And how you had said that you are a PT part-time and you are an event planner part-time. And how has your career evolved since becoming a mom? Have you always done two, or what does that look
I
like?
have not always done two, so it was kind of a unique situation.
Okay.
For 10 years, I owned my own physical therapy business.
Oh
It was an
wow.
outpatient clinic, and I had my two kids at the time, and that worked out great. And so I had my business, I had the two kids. They were young, so they weren't heavily involved in sports yet,
Yeah.
and managing the two was very easy. And then I had my third. The older ones start getting involved in the sports and everything. And I was like, whoo, this is getting a lot to juggle.
That.
And then when I got pregnant with the fourth, I was like, I don't think there's a chance that I can juggle this business
Yeah.
and four kids,
Yeah.
being the one that, like, I'm the one that does the doctor's appointments, the dentist, all the things.
Hmm.
So at that point, I was like, I think I got to sell the business and have a job that, is a little more flexible in that
Okay.
regard. So I got rid of the business. And it just so happened around that time, my dad ran a Boys and Girls Club in New Hampshire for 50
Oh
years.
wow.
So he was an executive director there for 50 years. He
Okay.
was retiring. And so we had been like heavily involved in the Boys and Girls Club my whole life.
I'm sure.
And his position got split into multiple positions. So the opportunity came up to be the director of special events there. So we have like a few big events every year,
Oh,
and I run
fun.
those events.
Wow. That's great. I
Yeah.
love that like you're doing what your dad did and in like a small
Yeah.
part of that. And is it I wanted to be a special events planner if I wasn't a teacher and somebody was like, well, it's long hours and nobody's ever happy with you, which it's kind of like being a teacher, kind of like being a mom. But I mean, was it, but I was like, but it always seems like fun, but doesn't every job seem like fun before you have it? But how many events do you do? Like, is it like how many
So
hours do you
there's
work, or is it just mostly when you're running the events that you're really working there?
so there's stuff in between, but then as the event gets closer, that's when like the hours beef up. We
Okay.
have one really big event every year and then other small ones, but the
Okay.
big one we typically raise in one night over $400,000.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it's like a big
A
event
big
that
one.
night.
Huh.
And but I have to say, like my dad handed down this like well-oiled machine for us.
Excellent. The
So
handbook.
yeah,
Here's how
so
you
it
do it.
made it a lot easier that he
Okay.
had done it for so many years. But like a typical boomer, he had everything was in his head or on
Hmm.
like a notepad.
Hmm.
And
He's
the
like, I
new
know how to
exec
do it.
yeah. And so when myself and the new executive director would meet with him about these events, he would bring in these like yellow notepads
Oh
and he was
no.
like, this is all the info. And we were like, you have
Thanks.
nothing. Yeah. You're like, you have nothing
Who's
electronic.
organizing this and typing it all up? That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah. So it was the epitome of just like 50 years of like everything in his head and on
On
paper.
a
And we were,
note.
oh, okay. And it was
Okay.
very well organized, but not in how we would consider
That's
organized nowadays.
really funny. Now, is he
Yeah.
okay with like letting go of the control? Like when you're doing stuff, is he like completely retired or does he like
He
to
he is for the most
pipe
part.
in a
Like
little?
we have a committee and
Okay.
I've forced him to continue to be on the committee for
Oh,
that
great.
big event. So there are times at meetings I'll look over like, hey, you want to answer this
This all
question?
right? You okay with
Yeah.
this?
Yep. So he does chime in a little, but he tries to just like, you guys do your thing.
Yeah, I did it for 50 years. That's amazing. And hopefully maybe your kids will be involved too. That's a really great legacy for your family to leave.
Yeah, and my
50.
kids go to the Boys and Girls Club. They love it. So it's really neat.
That's really fun. And are you a PT for children or adults? Or both?
Adults.
Adults.
It's
Okay.
kind of like I see all ages, but not like little kids.
Okay. Okay. And anything like specific or I mean like in a rehab or in a hospital or just people who need
So
it?
my business I had was outpatient orthopedics.
Okay.
Now per diem I work in home care. So it's
Oh, okay.
typically older individuals now.
Okay.
They had a hospital stay or something like that, or a
Okay.
fall or a
I got you.
stroke, and we go in once they get home from the hospital.
Fun. So you get to meet a lot of different people.
Oh yeah, and go in a
Work.
lot of interesting houses.
I bet. Meet a lot of interesting people. And what would you say your strengths are at work, and then what are your strengths at parenting? Are they the same? Are they different? Does one play off of the other?
They probably overlap a bit, but in terms of work and career, I will say that like just not much stresses me out. Like
Okay.
I'll have opinions about things, but I
Okay.
really just day to day, work doesn't stress me out. Even when I had my business, it was kind of just like, okay, like we'll just figure out the next thing,
Okay.
keep chugging along. Never really got stressed about anything. And I would say with parenting, that's similar, but four kids is a lot of kids. So the
Yeah.
more
And they're
kids
like
I
your own
had,
flesh and blood. Yeah.
yeah, the more kids I had, that skill started to dwindle a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say for having four kids with such an age range, I'm able most of the time to just like stay calm, know most things in life are a stage.
Okay.
And I'm not a person that like gets anxious in life. So I think
Okay.
I'm able to just like stay level-headed, whether it's work, parenting.
Oh, our conversation about travel is going to be so interesting because travel is like a trigger of anxiety for me. So this will be a funny conversation. All right. Well, let's talk about our win and our challenge of the week. Do you want to go first?
Sure, I'd love
Okay.
to.
Could start with a win or a challenge, your call.
All right, let's start with the win. Let's start with positive.
Let's.
So now in New Hampshire, that the weather is starting to get a little bit better. This week, we have gotten outside every day, which to
Nice.
me, just like mental health, all physical, all types of health, it's
Yeah,
just better. When you can get outside every day, I feel like it just makes the day better for the kids, for the parents, for everything.
definitely.
Even if it's for a half an hour, I'm
Yeah.
just happy to get outside.
And don't you think I mean, it's been 2 months now, but don't you think when the days are longer, like, oh my gosh,
Oh,
I'm such a happier person when it's light and
yes,
bright and even like above 50 degrees, I'm like, I'm in. I
exactly.
am. Sign me
It
up.
was like, I don't know, low 50s this afternoon. We were outside and the kids we put the deck furniture out and they're like, "Can we eat dinner outside tonight?" And I'm like, "Sure."
Sure. I
Everybody's
know.
got a coat on, but we're
Right, but
fine.
we're doing it, darn it, because it's
Yep.
springtime. And what
Yep.
was your challenge?
Challenge this week. We had school vacation last week
Okay.
and
Like, is that like a
now
spring break or what is that?
so New Hampshire does a February break and an April break.
Okay.
So we get the two different 1 weeks off. So we
Okay.
just had our April break and we went away. And now my 2-year-old son, every day at daycare drop off this week, has had a
Mm.
hard time. And it's like
Mm.
that transit. So that mom guilt just like gets at
Yes.
you. You just feel bad. And,
Yes.
you just feel guilty at that drop off when they're not just like, okay, I'm off.
But does
They're
he cry?
clingy. Yeah.
Yeah. Does he stand at the window and cry? Mine used to stand at the window, like to the parking lot and cry. And I was like, come
This one where the
on. Come on.
classroom is, he doesn't, luckily.
Oh, that's
And they're
good.
good. They'll send the picture like 2 minutes after you leave that
Yes.
he's fine. And it does make you feel better. But at the same
Yes.
time, you're just like, the working mom starts to feel that guilt.
Yes. And you're like, just walk out. Like you have to tell yourself, walk out, give them a kiss and walk out the door. And then they'll
Yes.
be
Yep.
okay. But oh,
And you're like
that's
peeling them and you're
yeah, and
like,
like handing
oh,
them
my heart is
over.
breaking.
Oh, I don't miss those days. Yeah, that's definitely hard. Maybe next
Yep.
week
Now, how
he'll be
about you? What's
maybe
your
next week he'll be
win?
back at it and he'll be happy to be at school. Um,
Right.
I was thinking about this episode will come out in the middle of May, but we're recording closer to the beginning of May. But in an episode that I had that came out a couple weeks ago, I was talking about May and how I was anticipating May. And so I think my win and challenge for now is I just wrote the word May. So the challenge is we know what the challenge is. And I feel like May has just recently like got its due or something. Like
Yeah.
May's really having a moment and Maycember and but I think maybe people just finally realized like what a cluster it is because
Yep.
it's so much happening and it's all fun things, but it's just I literally said to my husband, I'm like, we are taking it day by day this month, like hour by
That's all you
hour.
can
What
do.
is happening next? What is happening tonight? What is happening? Do we have like this morning? He's like, we don't have milk. And I was like, can you go at lunchtime? He was like, yes. I'm like, okay, great. Like crisis averted. We have one
There
more
you
day
go.
until the weekend and then we can go to the grocery store.
Yep.
But and I'm sure you're feeling that as well, right?
Yeah, I do. And I will say that I think as moms, we start to like now that there's, you got to have this gift for this and bring this to this performance. Like we start to put this pressure on ourselves
Yeah.
too that
Yeah.
I don't think people did in the past. Like
Probably.
I
Maybe that's why it's like such a thing now. I don't know, but I'm like, man, May really is I guess it's because everybody's doing the end of year stuff and the fun things and things are ending and I'm like, well, but my win is also May because we're doing it and we are no one has fallen apart completely yet and not yet. Still early. But the things are getting done and we're like I feel like every day that we kind of cross a day off of May, not that my mom always says don't wish your life away. I'm not wishing the month away, but
Yep.
every day that we get through, I'm like, okay, that was like 17 things that are now accomplished, that
Yeah,
are off the
check.
list. And so, yeah, by the time this episode actually publishes, we'll be like, I'm thinking like May 19th. So we'll be almost like more than halfway done. And
Yeah, and
ay, ay,
everybody's gonna
ay.
listen and be like, "You killed it, Kristen."
Or they'll be like, we couldn't listen to this episode until July because it was May when it came out. And I'll be like, I
Yeah,
understand it. I understand. It's fine. Everybody can listen to this in
exactly.
October when they have a minute.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Well, let's get into our topic talk because I think it's something that so many parents add it to the list of things that we are thinking about because summer is ahead. Now, when do your kids get out of school for the summer? Do you do like a full summer break?
So
Or
we get out like usually middle of June. I
okay.
think this year it's like June 19th.
Oh, okay. So you're a little later. We're like June, our kids are like June 12th, but there are schools around here that are like a week earlier. So it's kind of a weird, but we'd still do like the traditional 2.5 month break where I know some schools are doing more of like like my cousin works in South Carolina and I think they almost do like sort of year round, but with like
Yeah, I've
two
heard
week
of that.
breaks. I'm like, I don't know if I could get into that, but we are still kind of traditional summer. It sounds like you are too.
Yes.
Okay. And does your workload lighten in the summer? Or are you able to make it, or you're still
It
going?
it does not. And so
Okay.
that's one thing that always cracks me up about summer break is like the people who get the summer off, they'll always be like, "What are you doing this summer?" And I'm like, "The same thing that I do the whole rest of the year."
That's me. I'm guilty. And then I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
What are your summer plans? They're like working?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
And they're like,
Okay.
"What's up next week for you?" And I'm like, "Work, you
Still
know."
working. Still working. Um, well, so you were saying to me before this that and you said on here that your in-laws are from Croatia. So every summer you go to Croatia, and that is quite the airplane trip. So we're going to start
Yes.
with you because I think since I have had children, I think my son was on an airplane one time as a like 1.5 year old. We flew to Dallas, Texas, and then when he was about 2 and my daughter was about 7 months old, we took a 1 hour flight to North Carolina for my cousin's wedding, and that was kind of it. So I'm not lucky for you. I'm not going to have a lot to pipe in here. I'm going to let you run the show here. And just kind of so you take that big trip every year, and you said so. I mean, you were just in Disney and you flew there, and so you're kind of very
Yeah.
comfortable with
We
flying.
don't go to Croatia every year. We
Okay,
because it's expensive to fly
I'm
there.
sure.
My in-laws have a house on the island that they're from. So once we're there, we're not paying for accommodations,
Okay.
but we this summer will be our fourth trip to Croatia.
Okay. Okay. So you are
Yep.
gearing up for that now.
Yes.
And
Yep.
have all of your little ones, have they been there yet, or is this their first trip?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. We went last summer.
Oh, okay. Okay. So thinking about that, because that is quite the trip, but also flying to Florida or whatever it is, what are your biggest tips, would you say, with packing? Because I know you're so limited on an airplane and you have 4 kids who need a lot of stuff. So kind of what are your essentials and what do you leave behind and figure, we'll buy it when we get there.
The biggest thing for me is the planning ahead of time. And so you know how us middle-aged moms, we sleep like crap. So I
Hmm.
lay down in bed and my mind is just like
3
going.
a.m.
I
3 a.m.,
got the
baby.
list going on my phone.
Uh-huh.
So it's just that pre-trip planning and everything all depends. Like, do you have a washer and dryer where you're going?
Mm-hmm.
That makes a huge difference on what you have to pack. But I have to say, we are not overpackers.
Good.
My entire family of 6 went to Croatia last year with 2 bags.
That's
So we, yeah, so
in
we
a
had
good way. Good for you.
yeah. And like we just went to Disney with no checked bags, just 4 carry-ons.
Wow.
So we are not overpackers. We pack
Okay.
what we need. And I think the biggest thing with overpacking that I used to overpack in the past is if you do it too far ahead of time. Like if
Yeah.
2 weeks before you start putting stuff in the suitcase, you just throw more in, throw more in,
And
throw
you
more.
forget what you pack too. And then,
Exactly.
yeah. Then
Yeah.
you almost have
So
to unpack and repack. So
right. So
defeats
for
the purpose.
me, I have my list. I know what I want to pack. If it's
Okay.
like the random stuff, I put it in an area in my room, but I don't pack until the day before, where it's
Okay.
just
I
like
don't
I've
pack before
got
the
my
day before
list.
either.
Yep. And then it's like I know only in here is the stuff I need. And I don't have the time at the end to be like, oh, what about that dress? That dress, oh, that's cute. I'll throw that in there.
Haven't
Like
worn that in 2 years, but I might next week.
yeah, let me throw in these heels. I never wear heels.
I might go out for dinner somewhere.
Yeah.
Might not. Um, and do you, when you go, you usually have a washing machine? Because that's huge, like you said.
It's
Like you've got one
yes.
and you had one in Disney, you have one in Croatia.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's a big thing is when you can have a washing machine. One
Yes.
time at a place we stayed in Croatia in the city, they said that they had a washer,
Oh
but
no.
they didn't say they had a dryer. And I didn't think I have to look for both. So it was all six people's of
It
hang
was clean.
drying.
It
Yeah,
was just not
everything was
dry.
clean, but it
Okay.
was just loads of clothes being hung dry.
Oh my
And it was like
gosh.
every surface, all these things, just all clothes being hung dry. And I'm not used to that. I'm used to a dryer. So they end
Right.
up like more stiff and everything.
Yes. Yes.
And some people love that. They love hang drying. Me, I'm a dryer
Yeah,
gal.
I'm a dryer. Okay, because you're right. They do get like stiff and weird, and I feel like kind of out of shape and whatever.
Yep.
I was gonna ask you a question. So, what do you do about like I'm always packing Motrin and I'm always packing like the weird medical stuff. What do you do with that? Like, do you
So
take just the essentials?
I take well, Croatia's a little different. When I go to Disney, I've got the Tylenol, the ibuprofen, the Band-Aids, that sort of
Yes.
thing. So
Yes.
like kind of the bare minimum. When we go to Croatia, my in-laws are from a remote island with no doctor's office, no police station, no fire station, no
Yeah.
hospital,
Ugh,
nothing.
okay.
And the closest thing is 2 hours away
Mm.
by boat. So
Okay. My
yeah,
anxiety is like just
I
listening
know.
to this story. I'm like, oh, okay, continue.
So
You're
there
fine.
I bring allergy medication, I bring every like hydrocortisone cream,
Yes.
antibiotic cream, bug anti-itch stuff. I have
Yeah.
like a kit that I bring of all the stuff there.
I mean, you would have to. Have you ever had a
Yep.
major emergency?
No major emergency,
Well,
but my
knock on wood.
father, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My father-in-law has a very thick Croatian accent.
Okay.
And before our first ever trip, I never will forget, I said to him, I was like, so on the island, if somebody has a heart attack or a stroke or something,
Yeah.
like how do they get them to a hospital? Is there a helicopter that can come? And he said, oh, yes, helicopter can come. And I said, oh, okay. I said, how
Great.
long does it take to get them to the hospital? And he goes, let's just say you could die.
Very helpful.
Like,
Thank you. So it's
I
not
feel
real
so
quick.
much better.
It's not real speedy. Okay. All right. And
Yeah.
you're very laid back and relaxed about that. So that is great for you. Good. That
Yeah.
works out well. I think it's
Yeah.
probably good that I did not marry someone who is from a remote island in Croatia. Now let's talk about what do you do actually, and this kind of goes with this question too, because when the kids are babies, you need the pack and play, and you need the stroller, and you need the car seat, and you need da. What did you do then, and what do you do with because you still have little ones? Like what do you
Yep.
do with all of the things, the big things?
So in terms of pack and play, we shipped that ahead of time. So
Oh,
we
okay.
got that to the island before we went. So anything like that we can ship ahead of time, we try to.
How long ahead did you have to ship?
So that's a weird situation also, is because it's a remote island,
Yeah.
these people, there's a lot of Croatian immigrants where my in-laws live, and they're all friends with each other. So
Okay.
they will buy, rent a container and it goes on a cargo ship to Croatia, and
Oh,
then they'll get delivered to like different areas. So
okay.
my father-in-law will like rent a space in a cargo box. And so
Okay.
whenever he's gonna like he'll say, "Oh, I got a spot in a container. Does anybody want to ship anything?" So then we put stuff in the container.
Okay, so this is like extreme traveling for people who are
Yeah.
new or like new moms. This is like over the top. I love
Yeah.
this. So your
Yeah.
trip will be much easier because you're not going to a remote island in Croatia. But I do not, I mean, people ship things and take things or rent things
Yep.
or, they're like, we just went and bought a $20 booster at Target when we got there because we weren't going to
Right.
ship the high chair, so there are
And that
ways
was the
around it.
same in Disney. We've done a lot of Airbnbs.
Okay.
And my son was maybe like 6 months old the first time we brought him to Florida. And I said to the person who had the Airbnb, I was like, can I Amazon stuff to the Airbnb? And they're like, sure. So I
Interesting.
got a bouncer seat
Okay.
and one of those little like clip-on high
Yeah,
chairs. So I just sent the stuff there and I just left it there for the next person. They
that's
were like
awesome.
the cheapest ones you could get, but
Yeah,
I'm like, $50 on your trip when you're
for a week.
spending Disney money, you're kind of
It
like,
was
well,
nothing.
it blends right in.
Yeah, you're like, no big deal.
Yeah. So if you
Okay.
could do any of that ahead, but in terms of like we bring a double stroller wherever we
Okay.
go. And then I'm big on a plane on if a kid is like under 3 on having them in a car seat.
Hmm.
So this last time we just went, my son was in one side of the double stroller, the car seat was in the other side of the double stroller and
Okay.
forced to walk the airport.
Okay. So that makes it a little easier because, right, you need the car seat once you get there too, or do you
Yeah.
rent car seats once you get like to Florida?
Yeah, we typically bring a car seat with us so that way we
Okay.
don't have to worry about all that. And
Yeah.
then I honestly like on the plane, I feel like a toddler or a baby on a plane feels more comfortable in a car seat.
Yes.
It's like something they're used to. If they fall asleep, they can just tilt their head to the side. They've got the rest there, then kind of just like squirming in this
Can
big
like be
seat.
their own person a little. Yeah, I can hand them
Yep.
a toy. Yeah.
Right. And then if you hit any turbulence and they're in a car seat, it always makes me feel better than seeing this like 2-year-old bouncing around in
Right.
this big seat.
Right. Like they're gonna jump off my lap. That's a
Yeah,
good
so
point.
I like having the car seat on the plane. So we typically bring the car seat with us and
Okay.
then we gate check the stroller.
Okay.
So do you
So
know
then
what
it's
gate
back.
checking is?
It's you can take it all the way, right? And then do they
Yeah.
have it ready for you on the other side?
Yep. So you can go up beforehand at your gate and you say to the person, I want to gate check my stroller,
Okay.
and they'll give you this ta special tag for it, and you go right to the entrance of the plane, fold it up, and they'll put it in a spot on the plane, and then right when you exit the plane, it's right there when you exit.
Oh, that's great. Okay, I don't think we did that. I think we just checked it at the I don't remember now. It was so long ago, but that's a good tip too for people,
Yes.
especially with multiple small children who need all the
Yeah.
hands and all the help they can get.
Right. Gate checking the stroller is so nice. So it's like you just keep them in it right till you get to it, and then you're right back in when you're off.
That's awesome. And I feel like people in the airlines and the airports and stuff are very helpful with like little kids and
They
helping
are.
get things in and out and whatever. Okay, so once you're on that flight, whether it's 2 hours or 8 hours, what are you doing to keep your kids busy?
So for us, we are not a big technology family. So on those trips, they get their tablets that they
Mm,
do not get. They might get them 2 or 3 times a year.
yeah,
So to them, they are like
it
locked
is a
in.
treat.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
they are like pumped to have this tablet.
Okay.
So usually it's the tablet. And then I like to beforehand go to the dollar store and just pick out like a few things they've never seen before,
Yep.
never played with, maybe like a card game or some flashcards. And if somebody's kind of getting done with watching something, it's like, oh, look, here you go.
Do you
And
wrap them?
I did the first trip. I was like that very creative mom when I had 2 kids that I
Yeah,
was like,
right.
oh, I'm wrapping everything. I was like,
It's
so
gonna be a
now with
present.
4 kids, I'm like, here, take it,
What do
take
you
it.
want?
Yeah.
Because when we took my son on the airplane, and also when they were little, when we would go on car trips, I think I would do the exact same thing. Go to the store, buy some stuff, but I think I did wrap the first couple of times. And same thing now. I'm like, here it is. You don't need it
Yeah.
wrapped. But yeah, like it'll buy you a little time. Did you ever do? I heard the thing where you take post-it notes, like for a toddler, and you give them post-it notes and they can stick it all over the back of the chair and the window and
Yep.
whatever, and they can pick it up and move it or even write on it. So I think
Yeah.
Post-it notes bought me about 10 minutes one time.
Yeah. The other one besides post-it notes is painter's tape because it doesn't
Oh,
leave residue on anything.
okay.
When my kids were little toddlers, I
Yeah.
would take little pieces like half an inch of painter's tape and put it all over the
Okay.
window, the side, the back of the seat, and they would pick them off, pick them off, pick them off,
Okay.
pick them off. And so they would spend, 15 minutes picking off painter's tape
And would they
and
play with that, like put it in another shape, or it was just the picking off that was fun?
just picking it off.
Just
And then
picking
they'd
off.
hand it to me, and I was like, thank you, thank
Great.
you.
Yeah, you
Yep.
could do it again too. Put more on,
Yep.
pick it off again. Yeah,
Yep. And
all
then
the
the
things.
last time we went, I emptied out a spices container. It was
Okay.
like a cinnamon one.
Okay.
And I filled it with Q-tips. And so my young toddler at the time, I would take out the Q-tips, hand him one at the time, and he had to stick it in the little holes of the
Oh,
spices container.
okay. See,
And
like a
he
little
did that
OT
over.
in there too, right? When your mom's a
Yep.
PT, you get the
Yeah.
OT activities as well. Fine
Yep.
motor, kids. Here we
Yep.
go.
So he would
Uh,
just over and over again put those Q-tips in, I
but it
take them out, put them
and
in, take them out.
and he probably liked it. I mean, depending on the age, that probably kept him entertained for, I mean, it's always like the craziest things that they have fun with. Or
I
I heard
know. And
too, go ahead.
the little ones, like there's always little things like that for the little ones.
Yes.
One time I bought a smaller box of tissues,
Okay.
and because I was like, well, if someone has a runny nose, I got tissues.
That's right.
But if not, he just like pulled out, and
Mm,
he'd hand them to me, pull out a tissue, hand it to me, and then I'd stuff them all back in. He'd pull out tissues,
that's
and I
fun.
bought packs of stickers, and he could stick the stickers all over the tissue box. So the tissues were for noses, they were for play. The box was for putting stickers on.
Did it all.
Yeah.
That got you halfway to Croatia, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, box of tissues.
And another tip that I think I used the one time we were on an airplane when my son was two, lollipops for takeoff
Mm.
and landing because they can't really chew gum, but sucking on a lollipop, I think he really.
Yep.
And then it was like a bigger one, like a Tootsie, not a Tootsie Pop, but it was like a bigger lollipop. So then he kind of sat and ate it. And I was like, oh, if you're going to eat that, you just kind of have to sit and eat it. You know, it could be
Yep.
sticky. So that bought us a little time as well.
Yeah.
But
Those are
also,
great. And then takeoff and landing. When they're little, we've done pouches. So they're like
okay.
sucking.
Oh, that's a good
And so that
idea.
helps with the ears.
Okay.
And then the older ones, we'll give them fruit snacks. So they're
Okay.
kind of like and that helps with the ears.
Okay. Interesting. And can you take, again, I don't even know, can you, how many like snack things can you take on an airplane?
You can
Not,
take
isn't
as
it?
many as you want.
You can. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All kinds of food and whatever. You can take it.
All kinds of food. It's just the limit on liquids. But the liquids trick, if you have young kids, I don't know if they were older too, if it would work.
Okay.
You can bring liquids. You just have to tell them at security you have liquids
Okay.
and they're for the kids. So we just went to Florida. We had two big things, the stainless steel containers of milk, because my son's a
Oh,
milk drinker.
yeah.
And you just put them in the bin at security and you say, this is milk for the toddler. And they
Okay.
test it and you're allowed to bring it through.
How long does that last? How long can you say, this is milk for my 19-year-old? No.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's like when I used to take a diaper bag into like amusement parks that didn't allow bags, and I'm like, ooh, I have diapers in here. And finally my
Yeah.
daughter was like, I don't wear diapers. I'm like,
Yeah.
sure, you know, so you have to
Soon
adjust.
it's going to be my husband and he's going to be like, in the containers, an espresso martini for my wife.
That's
It's a
right. Like
necessity.
you'll be like, you're gonna want me to have this. Yeah. But
Yeah.
do they kind of give you like, do they give you a look if your kids are a certain age, or is it kind of like if you have kids,
I
you have
haven't
kids?
got there yet because
Okay.
I can say at 2.5, they have not given me a look yet. They've been totally fine with the two and
Okay.
a half needing liquids.
That's good to know. That's a good tip. And how about have you ever had the distinct pleasure of being on some kind of huge delay or spending hours in either on the runway, which I think is actually must be one of the worst things in the entire world, rather than being in the airport? Have you ever
Right.
had a delay either way?
So, knock on wood, I have not had the in the airplane for
Ugh.
more than 45 minutes.
Okay.
Because I agree,
I'd
every
be
time
like, I'll be the one
I'm
that'll
there,
cancel the flight. Get me off. I'm sorry
yeah.
to everybody else. Get me off this airplane.
Well, every time I hear of one of those, I think of the poor mom that like has formula or baby bottles. I'm like, what if they run out?
Yes.
And I feel so bad for
Because sometimes
every,
they last hours, like
yes.
longer than the flight. And I'm like, just
And they
cut
don't
it.
let you get up. And
Right.
it's like that is my nightmare. But in
Mm-hmm.
terms of layovers and delays, Our typical flight path to Croatia has a 5 hour layover in Germany.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's kind of like, for us, we are mentally ready for the 5 hour
Okay.
layover. But 2 trips ago to Croatia, we had the 5 hour layover. We
Okay.
get there and they're like, oh, the plane's delayed 4 hours.
Oh no.
So we ended up having over a 9 hour layover in an airport with 3 kids, one that was like
Oh.
1.5. So
Yeah.
that was rough.
Yeah. And is the airplane, what airport are you? Do you go to Germany, you said, right?
That was in Germany. That was in Frankfurt.
So is it a pretty big airport? Like, is there stuff to walk around and look at?
Yeah, but with a 1.5 year old, they don't give a crap about the sights of the airport.
No, they sure don't. They just want to run. And yikes.
Yep. So
Okay.
we actually, like the moving walkways, there
Yes.
was a solid, gosh, 45 minutes. My husband put her on the other direction of the moving walkway,
Yeah.
and she just walked.
Okay.
She
That's good.
kept going.
Tire her out. Go ahead. Walk it
Yep.
up, girl.
Yep. So he just put her on the opposite direction. She thought it was like the funniest thing that she wasn't going anywhere. It was like a
So
treadmill.
funny. And you're like, just keep going, man. Desperate times, right? And call for
Yep.
desperate measures. Yikes. Have you ever had to spend that? Did you have to spend the night or was that like during the day?
It was during the day,
Okay.
which I felt like it was worse that it was during the day because we had the overnight flight where everyone slept maybe 3 or 4 hours.
Yes. Yeah.
Then we got there and had over 9 hours in that
Ugh.
airport where everyone's functioning on 3 to 4 hours sleep.
Right. So everyone's
So
miserable
that
to
was,
start with.
yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. And you did it again. So, hey, I
Yep.
mean, props to you. And what do you do? Like, what do you do then? Do you go and get a snack and you just kind of whatever? Like,
It's snacks. You're busting out every toy you have that you
yeah.
brought. One thing that we do always pack, those like muslin blankets that
Yes.
babies have?
Oh, yeah.
So we typically on a big trip make sure each kid, no matter how old they are, has one of those in their bag
Oh, good
because
idea.
say you're 12 and you're exhausted and you want to lay down, there's nowhere in the airport to lay down. But if you
Right.
have that thin blanket, you can,
Mm.
some people think it's gross, but like you can lay down
Yeah.
and not be laying on an airport floor because
Right.
and then when we get where we are, that blanket goes right in the
Right in the
wash.
wash. Right. Or right into the fire right now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
but you're right. I mean, it's better than laying on the airport floor. At least you have something or the
yeah.
airport chairs or whatever. That's a good idea. Plus, sometimes it's chilly on the
Yes.
airplane or whatever. So that's a good
And they
one.
could scrunch it up as a pillow. They
That can
can,
work as a lot of different things,
yeah,
emergency diaper or something,
yep.
whatever you need it for. That's a good one.
Oh,
Muslin
yeah,
blanket. I like that.
yep.
And I have heard of people saying who don't travel with, who check their bags, that they always have in their carry-on a toothbrush and I guess toothpaste if they can, and an extra pair of clothes because they're like, they've lost
Mhm.
our luggage. This has happened. So they'll, in their carry-on, will make sure that they have kind of the essentials to them. Like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, we
Um,
usually keep a change of clothes for everyone in a carry-on.
yeah.
And because I do feel like toddlers in diapers have a knack when traveling, whether it's by car or plane, to pee through that diaper.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like a skill that's
Mm-hmm.
just born in them.
I wonder if
And I
it's
don't,
because they're sitting for so long, like where if you were home, you would change the diaper or check the diaper, where here you might be 4 hours and not in a
well, and
car or whatever.
I think it's also just like in the same position. And so
Yeah.
you're peeing into the same spot of the diaper.
Over and over again.
Right. And so you're
Just.
my husband and I all the time will like change the diaper right before we get on the plane.
Yeah.
Couple hours in the flight, I'm like, oh, we should check. And I'm like,
The
how?
pants are wet.
How?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They were drinking all that milk that you were
yeah,
allowed to bring on the
exactly.
airplane and then they
Yeah.
peed.
Yep.
Oh, oh, good stories though, right? All good stories.
Oh
And
yeah.
how about last question about the airplane? What do you do? You kind of explained it, but in terms of is the flight, like I know a flight to Florida is 2 hours probably during the day, but when you like I know when people f travel to Europe, it's typically an overnight flight. So
Mhm.
do your kids naturally fall asleep? Do you give them a little melatonin? What do you do to kind of make sure that everybody gets at least some sleep? Because
So I'm big on the best you can setting up a situation that
mm-hmm.
like triggers sleep in their brain.
Mm-hmm.
So If a kid sleeps with a sound machine, I have a portable sound machine in my bag.
Oh,
If they sleep with a lovey, I have the lovey in my bag.
yes.
Whatever it is, if they sleep in a sleep sack when they're little, I'll bring the sleep sack. And even though I can't put them in it, I have that with them. So they know,
Oh,
like, when
okay.
they
It's
see it,
time
this
for
is like
bed.
what I sleep with.
Yeah.
So I will put the sound machine on,
Okay.
even if they can like barely hear it on an airplane.
Yeah.
They'll have their little lovey, they have the sleep sack. So I try to have whatever triggers sleep in their head
Yes.
ready. And that's whether we're on cars or airplanes. Like
Yeah.
we're ready. This will get your brain into sleep mode.
Okay.
And so that's my biggest thing that I do.
Hmm.
But when it comes the older ages, it's like you can only do so much. They're either going to fall
Right.
asleep or they're not.
Right. Right.
So my older girls will take a long time on that overnight flight to fall
Okay.
asleep, and it's like you're constantly looking over, like,
Are they
please
asleep
just
yet?
fall
They sleep.
asleep
Yeah.
sometime
Go to
soon.
sleep. Because I would like to
And
go
I'll
to
be
sleep.
like, guys, sleep. And they're like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
Um, but the
That
top,
motor, that like plane mo engine is not lulling them to sleep like it does. I feel like it lulls babies to sleep a little bit better than
well, I have some friends, one of my best friends, her kids, the plane lulls them to sleep. My husband, plane
Mm.
lulls him to sleep. He is a phenomenal plane
Good for
sleeper.
him. That's
Yeah,
great.
yes,
So nice he's well rested.
yes.
And you're
And
checking that everybody's asleep.
yep,
You
but
can't
the
sleep till
rest of
everybody's
us,
asleep.
it does not put us to sleep.
Yeah.
So usually, one of the biggest things I always tell people on a plane, if your kid is not one that's just going to be lulled to sleep when they're little, is they're probably going to have a short period they cry for, and it's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
And like my husband, no, like toddlers crying on a plane gives him such anxiety. He's
Oh,
sweating.
yeah,
He
yeah. And
feels
you're like,
so
they're not
bad for
ours.
everyone around him. I can kind of zone it out that I'm like, this is me and you, buddy, and
Yeah,
we're
we'll
gonna get
get
this
there.
done. You're
Yeah.
gonna fall asleep. I know you might cry for a few minutes, and I can compartmentalize in that space. But I always tell people, I'm like, even if you get a dirty look, if somebody, makes a comment about your kid crying, that's just that nasty person in the world that you would tell your kid in school if that person said something to them, ignore them.
Hmm.
That's just not a nice person. Ignore that person. So when you get that look from someone, you have to just nope,
Yep.
nope, ignore it.
Sorry.
Stay in your space and do whatever you have to do to help your kid fall asleep
Yeah.
and just ignore all the outside noise. Because most people on the plane, if your kid's crying, feel bad for you.
Right. Or
And
they
they're like,
understand or they've been there. Or don't you also find when it's like not your child, you're like, not my kid, not my problem. And I can drown it out while feeling bad. I'm like, oh, that poor
yeah,
mom. But it doesn't bother me because it's not happening to me. So I'm like, nah,
right.
it's just kind of
And
background noise. And
most people are wearing headphones nowadays.
right. Oh, that's true. That's a good point. So they're not even hearing it. But I can
Right.
understand that, like, that's my baby. And because there are nasty people who will say things too. But I like that. Can't worry about it because
Yep.
can't worry
Yep.
about it. And you said muslin blanket is a must. What are one or two other things that you always travel with?
Well, like you said, the biggest thing of all is the snacks. And so it's just the goat of all traveling is
It
the
is.
snack.
It is. It's the snacks. You got to have them because they're
Yep.
again like another 5 minute. Like, oh, did you want a snack? And then like I'll find that like you're give out M&Ms. I'll give you three at a time and enjoy them, and then I'll give you three more. Like
Yep.
make it last.
Yes. And I think the biggest thing with the snacks is too, there's some snacks that take longer to eat. Like
Yeah.
say you give them a baggie full of cereal, that takes a bit to eat. So you bought yourself some time there versus
Yeah.
a quick snack that's like little.
3 bites.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
want that snack on the
No.
airplane. And then you want the snack that's something that they think is like this, like Gushers that they never
Yes, they
have.
never
And they're
get
like, are you bought Gushers for
Christmas.
this? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm the coolest mom ever.
Right.
Yeah,
And in
Gushers.
20 minutes, you can have another bag.
Yeah,
You can have
right.
whatever you need. Whatever you need, it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Then
And
I
so you
think
gotta
the
have, go ahead.
novelty is really the point in traveling. Just the
Yes.
novelty of all the the dollar store toys and the all the snacks and whatever.
Yes. Yeah. And then it's making sure you have the change of clothes.
Yes.
If you're going anywhere that you're going to swim that first day, we'll put a bathing suit in our
Oh,
backpacks.
good idea.
And so you're not searching through checked bags when you get there, or if your bag gets lost, that
Still
person's
have
gonna
your
be
bathing
mad they
suit.
can't go swimming.
Yeah.
So we always have change of clothes, bathing suit in our backpack.
Okay. Good one.
And then, like you said, those medicines, like the Tylenol, the things like that, I like to keep in my backpack
Close. I
because if
like to
you
keep
have
it
a kid,
close.
yes, if you have a kid out of, because kids are known to do this, to just spike a fever out of nowhere, where you're like,
Yes.
everyone was perfectly healthy when we left, and
Yep.
now this kid has a
Somebody has a
fever.
fever. Or
You
their
don't
ear
want to be
hurts or
like digging
yeah.
through everything. It's like, no, I have it in my backpack. We're good.
Yes. Yes. I'm a big fan of I used to carry it in my diaper bag. I used to,
Yep.
I'm like, because you always had that with you. And now even when we're going somewhere, I'll think to myself, like, even if it's a day trip, I'm like, well, we would be near a Target. I could get to Motrin.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And if we're not, I'm like, I'm gonna bring it and just put it in the back of the car just in case. Like, because
Yes.
really, you're like, or my thing was always if you're away, and my thing is always in the middle of the night. If somebody wakes up at
Hmm.
1:30 in the middle of the night, you either have 6 hours of misery or you
Yep.
have Motrin. So,
Yes.
and then you can deal with it in the morning.
Yes.
The things that we always bring, aside from, like you said, the loveys and the clothes and the whatever, we learned early on. We went to a wedding in Wichita. I don't know how my husband talked me into these things. I was new into motherhood, but we flew to Dallas, drove to Wichita for his nephew's wedding, had a great time, and came back to Dallas before we left. And Oliver was, let's call him a year and a half old. And we were in this hotel in the middle of Dallas, nice hotel. And the like 22-year-olds in the room next door didn't care that we had a
Oh.
baby. And I mean, they were going and partying and loud and music. And my husband called the front office and Ollie was asleep. He was like dead to the world asleep. And I was like a disaster. I'm like, he's going to wake up. We're not going to sleep.
Mhm.
And my husband called the front office and was like, hey, the people next door are being really loud. So we heard the like manager come upstairs, knock on the door and say, the people next door just complained. I was like, are you
Yeah.
actually kidding me?
Oh,
Like,
thank you.
so then I was like, oh, this is going to be helpful. So they were louder and more obnoxious.
Oh,
But
yeah.
we bring earplugs and a sound machine now because I'm like, if
Yep.
nothing else, we could always put earplugs in and turn on the sound machine. And that would kind of,
Yeah, I
that,
definitely need to start doing the earplugs because I am the lightest sleeper.
really,
Anything like someone could sniffle 3 rooms down and I'm gonna wake up.
yeah.
And I do the sound machine, but I need to do the
The
earplugs.
earplugs, like the heavy duty earplugs, because they really, I mean, they really do help. So that's my tip, earplugs and a
Mm.
sound machine, because then you can, or if you have a snorer in your family and if that's
Oh,
bugging somebody else, you're all in a one hotel room or whatever, that's very helpful. Just turn that sound machine up. Although I guess you don't really, like you said, you don't really need a sound machine because you can do it on your phone now, but the earplugs are important. All right, so let's scooch over to traveling with a car, which is what we do
oh
typically. And I
yeah.
think as my children get older, I am more open to the idea. But unlike you, this is very funny. I am a super duper overpacker. And like I said, travel gets me a little like wound up. And I think it was always that something was going to happen and I would be away from home and I wouldn't have the doctor or the medicine or the whatever. And so I said to my husband, I was like, I like to travel. I will go anywhere you want, but we're going to take a car for the first, like after our trip to North Carolina, I was like, we're going to be car travelers for the next, let's call it 8 to 10 years. And he's like,
Hmm.
okay. And
Yep.
so, really, anything that you need when you're on a trip with me, like you want my senior year yearbook? Sure, here it is. Take a look.
Yep.
You need like a Rubbermaid container? I got one for you.
Yep.
Whatever it is, you want the toy you played with when you were 18 months old? I probably have it somewhere in the back. And my husband will be like, hey, did you happen to bring? And I look at him, he's like, okay, what I meant to say is, can I have? I'm like, of
Yeah.
course I
And
brought
you're,
it.
you're like, let me just dust the old goldfish off of it, but I've got it.
I've got it. What is it that you're looking for? I have it. He's like,
Yep.
okay. So I always say he does the planning, I do the packing, which seems like a fair. So typically, if I'm talking longer road trips, we've been to Maine, we've been down to like Williamsburg, Virginia, we've been to Boston. So we're talking bigger road trips. We typically try to get up, get out. We pack lunch the first day because I kind of feel like everybody's fresh. We just went to Cincinnati for spring break. That was an 8 hour ride, and everybody's kind of fresh and like raring to go. So our thing is always kind of go the furthest, at
Yep.
first. Like go as
Oh
far as
yeah.
you're going and then work your way back. So we will pack all the snacks. We will pack a lunch. We might pull over to a gas station and go to the bathroom and wash our hands or whatever, but our kids think it's wildly fun to have a car picnic, which usually means I'm juggling lots of containers and bags and snacks, but that's fine. You can keep moving. And then I, like you, will buy some snacks that we call, like when we go to the beach, we buy like Twizzler, those little nuggets or like the
Yep.
Twizzler things. And they're like, oh, vacation food. I'm like, yeah, like the food that we don't usually have. And that's fun.
Oh
Um,
yeah, definitely.
I also find that like we will pack lots of we'll go to the grocery store sometimes and pack a big giant cooler in the back of our car with seltzer and soda, and we'll put apples and peppers because I feel like when you're on vacation you do eat so many like fun delicious foods, but like we got to keep regular in our family.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but you also need to have like baby carrots and peppers and apples, so we try to get some berries in them. So we'll often do like a big shop before we go. So then we'll have our food, our bread and butter, and our peanut butter and jelly, and even lunch meat
Yep.
stuff in the cooler, in the bag. So there's kind of, nothing I don't have with me. I can
Yeah, no, those
always.
things are great. And I do think the sandwich is such a big thing. We do the same on a plane. Everybody's
Oh,
backpack has peanut butter and jelly sandwich in it usually, because
right.
sometimes a snack just like they need more than the snack. Like
Yes.
they you need something a little more solid.
Right.
And like you'll present them these snacks and they're like the little ones are like, no, no. And then I'm like,
Right.
do you want a sandwich? They're like, yes.
Yes, like real food. That's how I
Yes.
feel too. Like, Cheez-Its are fun for so long, and then you're like, I'm kind of tired of eating like, whatever it is. But yeah, so we'll do
Yep.
like snacks for fun and we'll get like the little chip bags and like all the things. But yes, we often have, and often when we're on vacation too, this is another time. This episode is more just like getting there, but side note, we often rent a hotel with like the two rooms and a little mini kitchen. So we have a
Oh, that's nice.
refrigerator and we'll often
Yes.
pack a lunch and like take it with us wherever we're going in a cooler. And then we'll go to a hotel that has free breakfast because you can tell. I'm like, because if not, you can spend $100, $200 a day
Oh,
on
yeah.
mediocre food, and then we'll go out for dinner. So that's kind of our
Yes.
like, we do that. But yes, we have tons of food. Let me see. Activities and entertainment. We have, since they have gotten older, and we still have a CD player in our minivan. We will rent books on CD. My
Hmm.
my kid at the local library, they have like little almost we used to watch movies, but my daughter would get car sick. So that only has to happen two times before you realize, oh, this is what's happening. And
Yep.
honestly, they've been fine without the TV. So we do like they'll get they're kind of like I think they're called playaways from the library, and it's like one story, kind of in like what we would have called like a Walkman, and it's like self-contained. And my son will listen to books, and my daughter will listen to them. Or what do your kids do in the car?
So for us in the car, it was we dealt with the same car sickness as you, and we
Yeah,
realized if they had a screen here in front of them, especially if there was like something like a game or a little painting thing they were doing,
yeah.
that caused the sickness. But when
Oh,
we had our
interesting.
minivan, we had that screen up high,
Yeah.
and if they were looking up and away from themselves, it didn't make them sick.
That's
And
interesting. Because ours
yeah,
went
so
on the back of the passenger seat of the driver in the passenger seat, and it still happened. So
yeah. So ours, if it was like up and away, they were
okay,
fine.
okay,
But I bought those like vomit bags. And so
okay. Yes.
everybody has a vomit bag within reach
Excellent.
when we were
We
in.
get little ear patches for her now. We found them, and you just put them behind the ear and it has stopped the
Oh,
car
that's
sickness.
good.
So,
Yeah. And I've seen some people do those like funky glasses that help with the
oh,
car sickness.
I don't know those. Okay.
Yeah, and they have like a liquid around the, and it makes it so you're like only seeing like in front of you, so
Oh,
you're not
that
getting
not the
sick from like
peripheral.
stuff changing in all directions.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Now, my daughter wears glasses, so I don't know that she could wear glasses on top of glasses, but that's a good idea for
She can
somebody
try.
else. Oh, I
If the
haven't seen
patches
them.
work, she's good.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, they really do. So I'm like, easy enough. But I was like, I don't really mind, like, I don't mind if they watch movies at all. But I was also like, if it doesn't really bother them, I don't mind that they don't have to watch movies in the car.
Yep.
So we'll
Yep.
pack books and we'll pack little toys and same thing. Like I have them now both pack a bag and then I'll kind of check it. But I'm like, what would you want to play with? And they keep it kind of near their seat and they can reach
Yes.
in and
Yeah, we do the same. They kind of, the older three will all have some things that they pack on their own, keep close by.
yeah.
And then I just have general car toys that are in my car at all times.
Mhm.
So it's like somebody gets fussy, you like reach behind you and you're just like, you
Yes,
want
I have like a
this?
Rubbermaid container in the middle. I'm like, what do you
Yeah,
want?
yep. In your hand, you want a book? You want this?
Yes. Do you do
And
Magnadoodles? I have found that we have two Magnadoodles because God forbid one person have a Magnadoodle and one doesn't, but they like to do that and then they'll play sort of like Pictionary or Mommy draw a picture for me. That keeps them
yep.
entertained for a while. That's a good one.
Yep. And
Um,
then they'll do like just the recently, because my daughter that plays a lot of club sports, she'll have 1 to 2 hour drives to tournaments that will bring her to. And
okay.
she just the other day, it was just her and I, and she's like, I'm gonna find 10 different states on license plates
Oh,
for
my
this
kids love
truck.
that. We have a book that has stickers. They love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like determined to find 10 different, and I'm like, all right, here we
All right.
go. Yep.
You probably see a lot of Massachusetts and New Hampshire when you're there. We find that
Yep.
a lot of tractor trailers have a Maine license plate. Why is that?
Yeah.
There
But
must be
those
some.
tractor trailers are great for having a random license plate too that you
Yes.
can add to the list.
Yes, but Maine seems to be a bit, and Illinois, I think Maine and Illinois are where
Mm.
most of the tractor trailers, and my kids have learned the like, if you do the toot toot, sometime if you pull your arm up and down, sometimes the truck drivers will honk at you. So that gives them like
Yep.
10 minutes of fun. They also, we've had car bingo that somebody gave us. They like car bingo, where it's kind of like a permanent, and then you just like a permanent board, but you just slide the thing over when you play it, so you can play it more than once.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's
And
kind of
then we
like
have just like we love Disney movies, so we'll play like a Disney movie soundtrack and
nice.
everybody like, we're listening to that. Or then one of the best soundtracks for a family, we all agree, is The Greatest Showman.
Oh, we love that one too. Yes.
Uh
It is a good
yes.
one.
So
Yeah.
that soundtrack can get us like people singing and loving that for a solid 25 minutes. It
I
can get
mean,
us through.
you know, you can clap along and sing. And yes, we do like that one. We made a playlist where everybody got to add songs to it. And I think my husband's like, I think you kind of missed the purpose of a playlist. I'm like, why is like this is like 26 hours of music? I'm like, well, then we'll never repeat. But my son's like, I don't know, Mom, it feels like a lot of Taylor Swift. I'm like, well, there is a lot of Taylor Swift, but there's also a lot of other things, so we'll say we're gonna listen to it for 30 minutes and we're not gonna skip anything unless I want to. But and we also surprisingly found there's a podcast called I think Family Road Trip Trivia, and there are
Oh,
tons of topics, all like kids stuff, like logos and mottos and sports teams and K-pop demon, like every single thing,
oh,
decades and back to school trivia and all it's fun and you can
I
Christmas
like that.
trivia, Halloween trivia, Christmas song trivia. That's worth looking into. I think it's called Family Road Trip Trivia. I'll find it and put it in the show notes, but that has been a good one because we've kind of bopped around to a couple of different like family podcasts and that one is our favorite. But each of the episodes is about 20 minutes. So we'll say, like, well, you can pick a podcast and then somebody else can pick music for 20 minutes. So, like, that has gotten us a little time. And my daughter's usually like, I don't even want to do this. And then it starts and you see her and she's like, oh, I know the answer to that. That's like
Yeah,
math. I'm like, oh, okay. I thought you weren't
thought
playing.
you didn't want to
You
do
know,
it. Yeah,
I'm like, if you scream and yell during the whole thing, you don't get to pick music. So then she'll like sit there angry, but then you can see she's listening. So,
yep, yep.
and we've done like some old school, like Beverly Cleary books on tape and Ralph and the motorcycle and Ramona. And so that's fun. That we usually do like an hour at a time and then they need a little break. But
Yep, yep,
sometimes we're like, just look out the window. Like just look
yeah.
out the window. Just,
Watch the raindrops fall.
old school, right? See what you
Yep.
say. Let me see. And we do, I mean, like I said, the first day we try to kind of just get there with maybe a couple stops at a gas station or a bathroom or whatever. But we do sort of then work our way back on the way home so that it's maybe, we'll leave 2 days before our vacation is over and drive 2 or 3 hours and do something kind of big in whatever that town or city is and spend the night there. And then the next day, drive 2 or 3 hours so that when you're ready to come home, like, you know how when you're ready to come home, you are ready to come home and you
Yes.
don't want 8 hours of driving ahead of you. So that has worked well for us. Um, just,
Now, does anybody ever, like, when you get somewhere, if they're wanting to get home, are they ever like, can we just keep going? I just want to be home.
I think I'm probably the one that feels the most like that because
Okay.
my kids like to travel. They're pretty good travelers. My son sometimes gets a little like weird on vacation. I don't know if it's because he's out of his element. I don't know if it's like not like he's more like irritating like he
Mm.
like just behavior that or he'll get kind of grumpy like I'm not even having any fun and I'm like are you actually kidding me right now like that
Mm.
kind of stuff like he kind of gets into this cycle of like not being happy. I don't, it's hard to describe, but that, so then I'm sort of like, I'm kind of done with this. Like, we're paying all
Yeah.
this money, we're doing all of this, and all you're doing is complaining. Like, we went to Boston last year, and he told me the only thing that was fun was the day that we went to Fenway Park. I mean, we were gone for 10 days. Like, we did fun things every single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And if you ask him now, it's all these beautiful memories of Boston. But in the moment, I was like, this is not really that much fun for us. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So, um, yeah, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just age. I don't know. But
Yeah,
no,
that's
they're
tough.
pretty like up for like my daughter, I think would like to live in a hotel. She's always like, "Can we go back to the Fairfield Inn?" I'm like, I mean, sure, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
They think the breakfast is great after like the first
Remember
day. I'm
that
like,
waffle maker
oh,
there?
that waffle maker. And after like the second day, I'm like, I think I'll just have a granola bar and stay in the room
Yeah.
and pack sandwiches. But yeah. No, they love it. I think it's me who's kind of like after 6 or 7 days, I'm like, okay. I'm like I love to travel, but I love to come home.
Yes, I'm the same way. I'm like so excited to go somewhere. And then by the end, I'm like, oh, it'll be nice to get home.
It'll be nice to get home. And everything gets like disorganized. And you know, like how when you leave, everything is like so beautifully packed. And so, and then during the week, everything's
Oh,
disorganized. You don't know where things are. And you're just like, I'm finished like living in a hotel without all of my things. But we did. And
yeah.
one more hack. We started bringing up one of those. Do you have IKEAs in New Hampshire? You know what IKEA?
In Massachusetts, so I can drive to one.
Okay, so you know what it is. And they have
Yes.
those giant blue shopping bags, like giant,
Yeah.
like a duffel bag. So we have started bringing them. And when we're finished wearing clothes, because sometimes, like, you know, if we only bring so many, I'm like, you can wear that again. But when we're finished with it, we'll put that in the bag. So
Hmm.
then when you go home, you can just put the stuff away that's still clean and wash the
Yes.
stuff that, you know, so that has been kind of helpful. And then you don't have to like reorganize and refold everything in the lot that in, you know, in the suitcase because it's all kind of out.
Yes,
Um,
I kind of have a similar, I'll take like from a hotel room one of those plastic laundry bags or something, and I have
Yes.
one of the bags that's like the dirty clothes. So when I get home, I just know all of this is going straight to the laundry room. I'm not like fishing through, because
Right.
then I feel like for me, when you're traveling, you're sweating, there's all that. And if I have that next to clean clothes, then I'm like, well, now I'm just going to clean
Just
those
wash
clean.
everything.
Yeah.
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 So I try to
Sometimes I
keep,
do that anyway because I'm like, it smells like the hotel that like you just want it like back in
yeah.
your own space.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's kind of like the, you know, the like after beach shower. Like there's nothing
Oh,
better than it's like there's nothing better than the after vacation, like throw those clothes in the washing machine and you're like, oh, I'm instantly like, okay. Like
yes.
it's just because you just start to
We,
feel like everything's germy and
yes. And after our last trip to Croatia, and we had the two check bags, we had
yeah.
the two check bags, and they lost both of them on the way
Oh,
back.
oh
And so by
no.
the time it took a while to get them back, and by
Like
the time
weeks.
they came back, they like stunk.
Oh, I bet.
And so everything in there, I was like, this is going
Just
like high heat. Where
throw it
did this?
away or wash it and yeah, put it on the highest. Wash it through a couple times. How long did they lose it for?
2 weeks?
Oh, yeah. That's
Yeah.
a long time. You're
Yeah, it was
probably
a
like,
good
we all
amount of
have three
time.
outfits to wear now until it gets back. Everybody wear your three shirts.
Yep. Yep. And that somehow, even though we do that gate check with our stroller, they had lost that. They lost like everything. I
Oh
think they
my
just
gosh.
loaded stuff on the wrong thing.
Yeah, I was like, did it even get on the airplane? It went
I don't
somewhere
think,
else.
yeah, I don't think anything got on the airplane. I don't know what happened. And when our stroller got back, like it finally made it back and it smelled like a fish market. It was disgusting.
Ew, we're like,
I
what?
covered it in Dawn dish soap and I power washed it.
You're like, now it's back. That's
Yeah.
funny. Because they have to replace everything if they don't find it? They do,
No.
right? Or they give you
Yeah,
money?
they say they will, but then there's all these stipulations that it has to like meet this criteria.
So you have to give
Then
them a
at,
list of what
yeah,
they lost. You're like, everything. You lost everything.
right. And then everything like depreciates in value and this. So it was
Like, just find
such
it.
a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got it back, so that's
And we
good. Throw
did.
that in the throw that in the hot washing machine. That's a good one.
Yep.
Uh, all right, so let's see. I think I was saying on another podcast a couple weeks ago, I do in terms of like involving my kids in the process, I am starting to teach them how to pack because I think that's an important skill. So I'll be like, go get 5 pairs of pants, go get this. And then of course I check it and everything, but I do think that's something from a young age that you can involve them in. Like I'm sure your
Yeah.
little ones can't do that. Do your older ones do it?
So you're totally right that it's definitely a skill and they need to learn it. And I'll do like you said, where I'll say like you're gonna have two bathing suits on this trip.
Hmm.
Go and you need to try them on first because
Hmm.
we haven't worn bathing suits since last summer. So go
Right.
try on, make sure two fit and bringing them to me. So I'll do that, but I really should include them more than I do. Like I end up being the mom that's like, I'm in my packing space, leave me alone.
Yes,
My
that's
husband's
also
like,
true.
no one talk to mama. She's packing.
You have
It's a
25 lists in your head. They can't
yeah,
talk to you. You'll be distracted forever. I understand that.
yeah. But I want to make an effort to involve them more because we do like in life, we are the people that if we're at a restaurant, you order your own food. Like
Mhm. We do
my four,
too. Yeah.
yeah. So my 4-year-old, she orders her own food. Like you look at the waiter in the eye and you order it.
Yep.
So I really want them to be more involved. But when
Yeah.
push comes to shove and it's the day
Just do
before a
it.
trip, I'm like, leave me alone.
Let me just do it.
Yeah.
Side note to that, we do the same. Like if you want the ice cream, you have to ask for it. My son is very outgoing, very friendly, like never met a person he didn't want to talk to. So we went out for dinner the other night and I wasn't even thinking. And I said to him, hey, why don't you, like he's never gone up and like said party of four or whatever. I said, why don't you go tell them that we're here for dinner? And he walks up to the counter or whatever. And it's these like three adorable teenage girls. Now he's 9. He has no like crushes, nothing. He's just like, a little boy. But he got up there and I was like, well, tell them that we're here for dinner. And he like looked at them and they looked at him and he looked at me and I was like, Ali, say hello. For dinner, please. And I guess he just got like flustered. The
Yeah.
child turned flaming red and like backed up. And I was like, oh. And later, and my husband was like, I mean, you put him in front of 3 smiling angels. What was he supposed to do? And I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't trying to embarrass him. I was trying to teach him how you like approach a restaurant. But I said to him the next day, I'm like, I'm really sorry. I could tell you were embarrassed. And I didn't really, he's like, it's okay. I just didn't know what you wanted me to say. And those girls were looking at me and I was like, oh God, here we go. Like, I was like,
Yeah, no,
okay,
it's
well,
starting.
we'll
It's
practice
starting.
next time. But same thing, like that kind of, if you want it, you ask for it. So maybe we'll
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah, we
practice
did
the
it.
restaurant another time.
Yeah, we do that. And like just when we were in Disney, I was going on a ride with my 12-year-old and she was like, I'd really like to be in the front row. And you always hear at Disney, if you ask, like you might have to wait a little longer, but they'll
They'll
let you
let
go.
you.
And so I said, if you want to be in the front row, you have to go up to the person and ask. And she's
Hmm.
like, okay. So
Good.
then he said, yep, you just have to wait for the next round. She said, okay. And then we got on the front row.
See? It's an important skill. So
Yeah, but
packing
I'm
and
like,
speaking
I'm
up for
not
yourself.
asking for you because you're the one who wants it. If you have to go
Right.
up and do it.
Right. And my daughter is very shy, but I think because she like knows what to say, she will look that waiter or waitress right in the eye. I will have the macaroni and cheese, please. Okay. I'm like,
Yeah.
she's shy around her own first grade teacher, but she'll talk to the waitress. We were at a family party last year and I like couldn't find her. There was like a whole room, so I knew she was somewhere. And I walk into like the lobby. She's chatting up the bartender. I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like, what? She's like, I was just telling him about my toys. And I was like, okay. I was
That's
like, so
amazing.
she knows who to talk to. And she's like, he gave
Yeah.
me a Shirley Temple. I'm like, okay, I get it, girl.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we know that travel does not always go as planned. Do you have like one big moment that you can share that was kind of a travel disaster?
I would probably be going back to that 9-hour delay, that it was just like, this is almost the amount of time that these toddlers would be awake for in a day that we are just going to spend in an airport. And that
Were
one,
you calm and laid back then? Or did you get a little bit elevated?
probably got a little bit, but it was one of those things you have to just tell yourself, they're like, there's
There's
nothing I
nothing
can
you
do
can
right
do.
now. And so it was just, I'm very big on sleep schedules. And
Hmm.
so I'm always in my head. I know when someone fell asleep, when they woke up, how long until they usually nap. And so it was like, okay, in 2 hours, this one is going to be tired. We're on a
Yeah.
different time zone, all of it. So it was just like, all right, this is what we got to do. And the biggest thing on that one too, this is actually just reminded me, is on one time when we flew to Croatia, we flew SAS, which is like the spirit of international.
Oh, oh, okay.
Yes, that I would never do again.
Okay, good
And
tip.
we went to gate check the stroller and they were like, we don't do that. And we were like, what do you mean you don't do that? Every
Yeah.
airline does that. And they're
Yeah.
like, we
Like,
don't.
not us.
And so they're like, your stroller will be in Croatia. And we're like, we have a 5 hour layover, which then turned into 9 hours that we
Yes.
had no stroller.
Oh, you did make
So
it.
there were these carts in the
Gosh.
airport in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
And so we had the toddler in this like cart, and
Oh my
her
God.
legs are like up by her
And you're
face.
like, make
And
it
my
work.
husband's
Do you have
pushing
pictures?
her around when it's nap time, and she's like smushed like a
She's like, this
sandwich
isn't
trying to
really
fall
that
asleep.
comfortable, but okay. I
Yep.
hope you took a lot of pictures from your nine
We did.
hours.
We did. And that one, when we didn't have the stroller and it turned into 9 hours,
Oh.
that really threw us off our game.
Yeah. I feel like these things that happen that like when you're traveling that are awful in the moment, like depending on the situation, in 5, 10, maybe 20 years, do become funny family stories. It depends on the situation. But they are
Yes.
like you're like, when I am through this hell, it will be like a family folklore, kind of like, that we all tell, but
Yep.
sometimes it takes my sister and I, we have a story about traveling that happened like 7 years ago when we went to North Carolina and two of our kids ended up in urgent care and they weren't sleeping. And like even now we're like, still not funny.
I'm
My
not
husband's
ready
like,
to
it's a
joke.
little funny. I'm like, nope, it's been 6.5 years. We're still not laughing. And he's like,
Yeah,
okay. I'm
I
like,
know.
we're gonna
Yeah,
need
there's
another.
certain things you're like, I'm not ready to joke
No,
about
we're
that.
gonna need another 10, a 10 on
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
But when we're like 80, it'll be really funny, but
Yeah.
still not funny
Yeah.
right
You're
now.
going to be 65 and be like, hey,
No,
want to joke about that now?
He'll be like, "Do you need another 5 years?" I feel like I need another five, and then it'll be fine. We'll have
Yeah.
grandchildren of our own, and we'll be like, still not funny.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap it up with, we're talking, we're laughing about it, but it is true. Traveling with kids is hard, and it's just kind of parenting in a different place. It's not really, like they say, not really a vacation. It's a trip, and you're parenting in a different place, often
Yep.
without your things, and that is
Right.
tough. But here we are. We all do it. We continue to do it. And what would you say is the reason that you continue to do it, even though it can be difficult?
Yeah. And it has its challenges. But I will say that my family, like, we love like exploring someplace new, being someplace different, having adventures, having something fun that we're planning on going to. We live in a cold weather state, so going somewhere warm. So our family thrives on a vacation. Like we typically don't deal with a whole lot of behavioral issues because everyone is just so excited, happy to
Right.
be somewhere else. We're so lucky that they get to experience the cultural differences from where my
Yeah.
in-laws are from. I'll hear my kids talk to other people about Croatia. And I'll step back and I'm like, wow, that is just
Amazing.
such a unique experience that my
Yeah.
kids get to have. And
Yes.
the way when I hear it from their words, you're just like, this is so freaking cool, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
And just, it's such a unique experience. So it just makes it worth it that like all you get to experience as a family. And I remember myself, some of my most vivid memories are on vacations with my family.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter how big of a vacation or how small of a vacation,
Right.
but when I look back on childhood memories, like those are the things that pop in my head as vacations.
Hmm. And you don't remember the like, the bad times or the arguing or whatever. You remember like, oh, I went and saw Niagara Falls, or oh,
Right.
I went to Boston and now I'm taking my kids to Boston, or we went here. And that's kind of fun too. I think that connection of like,
Yeah.
we haven't been to Disney World yet, but my mom, we went to Disney World like I think two or three times when I was growing up, and every time we walked into the park, my mom would cry. And I said to my
Mhm.
husband, I'm like, when we go to Disney World, we're gonna step into the park. He's like, and you're gonna cry. And I'm like,
Oh
yes,
yeah.
like it's just because she would be like, I'm just so happy that we're here and I'm here with our family and this is so special. And I go, it's gonna be me, like you know what I mean? And
Yep.
yeah, and I
Yep.
think too, it's funny as we talk, I'm like, I feel like we're very similar in terms of our like parenting styles and, our families and whatever. And we always say like we're a team, we're a little group of four, and
Yes.
those vacation memories are memories that you have with your little team. Like you can tell people about your trip to the beach, or you can tell them about, but you six and we four, we have those memories, and it was something we did together. And we'll
Yes.
reference, like you said, like we'll reference at dinner, like, well, remember when we were in Boston and we ate at that restaurant, or we look at pictures and I'm like, oh, Regina Pizza in Boston, or
Oh, the best.
yeah, I mean, obviously, the pastries in the North End, or we went to Williamsburg, Virginia, and remember that? Well, when we saw, and it's something that kind of brings you together, even through the, sitting in traffic and the kids fighting and nobody wants what's for dinner or whatever. But I think you can kind of block them out after a while, and you kind
Yes.
of have rosy glasses when you think about vacation. That's how
Oh,
I
you
look at
really
it.
do. And I think it also like you just feel lucky to be able to do it.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like not everybody gets to vacation, whether it's near, far, whatever it is. And yet, and we try to remind our kids too, like not everybody gets to do this.
Hmm.
And we have those conversations like, how lucky are we
Yes.
that we're going here, that you get to experience this,
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing too, is just constantly like that reminder of being gratefulness and how lucky you are to be able to experience those
Right.
things.
And like you said, it doesn't matter where it is. If it's Florida or Disney World, or we went to Cincinnati, like I said, not overly exciting, but hey, we had a great time,
Right.
and we tried new ice cream and we saw family friends and we visited a town and the kids played at a playground. They're like, that playground was awesome. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like just all those things. Um,
Yep.
so there we go. There you go, listeners. It's worth all the all the hard work and the preparation and
It
sometimes the
really is.
hassle. It is.
It
It
really,
is.
it's the things you'll remember and you'll continue talking about at your dinner table as years go by.
Yeah, remember that time. And I think too, going back to put it all together nicely, we talked about novelty and travel in getting the kids dollar store things and getting them snacks and whatever. But I think the reason that it is such a strong memory is because it's the novelty of being somewhere else and staying in a hotel and trying new things, and your life at your own house. It all kind of feels like one blob, but you can very distinctly remember the trip when we did this and the time that we went here. And it's the novelty of being somewhere
Yeah.
else with the people that you love. Think
Right.
about
And
it.
I think we have, like, for listeners to remember too, it doesn't have to be elaborate. Like we said, the things can be from the dollar store.
Yeah,
You can go in your toy bin, find something your kids haven't
right.
seen in a while, wrap it in wrapping paper, pretend like it's new. Who cares?
Yeah, they won't
You
remember.
can go on your phone and look up trivia to do in the car ride.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be something that costs you extra. You don't have to go on Amazon and spend $150 on
Right,
entertainment for your kids.
right.
Like if you're driving an hour away, it doesn't have to be anything crazy and you're still going to have the great
A
memories.
great time. And also, last point, to your point, I think too, the more you do it, the more used to it your kids get. So like when my kids were little and we would drive somewhere for an hour, they'd be like, when are we gonna get there? And now that they've driven further, they usually can go an hour or two in the car, just kind of talking to us or looking out the window with before they're even like, can we have something to do? This is boring. And I'm like, great. So maybe
Yeah.
soon it'll be like 3 hours, or you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're just their tolerance for the car and their tolerance for driving and being away from home, and like all of those things I think are so many important life skills too. So
Yeah. Oh, definitely. That's like I'm the worst person with turbulence in my family. My kids, it's like
see, there
nothing's
is something
happening.
that gets you. Good. I'm
Oh,
glad there's something.
yeah. Yeah. But like I look over and my kids are like bobbing around perfectly fine. And I'm like, is anybody else bothered right
Anybody
now?
else
Nope, just
white
me.
knuckling
Okay.
on the thing? Yeesh, yeah, that's not the fun part of it.
Yep.
Um, Yes, but all worth it, right? It's all worth
It
it. And
really is.
hopefully all these tips and tricks will help people. They can thank Krista and Kristin when they're traveling this
There
summer.
you go.
All right,
Dynamic duo.
here come your final questions. Are you ready?
I am.
What's at the top of your bucket list?
Ooh, I want to do a trip one day. I did a month by myself in Italy when I was in college,
Oh,
and Italy is across the Adriatic Sea from Croatia.
okay.
So once I have no kids and strollers, I want to go away for like 3 or 4 weeks, explore Italy
Oh,
with my
wow.
family, and then take the ferry across to Croatia and end at my in-laws.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, can I come with you? I'll put it at the
Yeah,
top of my bucket list too. And they'll be like, "Oh, you're going, I'll come with you."
you pack the
With
snacks.
yes, I'll bring lots of, I'll have the medicine. I'll have all the medicine. Which phone app do you use the most?
And now it would be Instagram, unfortunately. A year ago, myself would have been so upset with that answer.
It's
But
okay.
now that I create content on there, that would be the one I'm using the most.
And you do it well, so that's okay. First thing you do in the morning.
I turn off my, I'm a get up and get out of bed person. So I turn off the alarm, I get up, I head in the bathroom, and I very sexy have Invisalign. So I
Oh,
pop my
oh,
Invisalign out
I'm
and
getting
I
it
go,
this summer. Hey,
oh, there.
okay. Pop it
And then
out.
I go downstairs and have a cup of tea before anybody wakes up.
Little 10 minutes to yourself. No more
Yep.
Invisalign and some tea. That's really funny. Yeah, I'll be Invisaligning this summer, so looking forward to it. What's something that makes you nervous?
Ooh, makes me nervous. I can't say I get nervous too often. Oh, I got one. Is if I'm driving and so I'm the driver in my family, not my
Okay.
husband. People get
Okay.
surprised by that.
Okay.
But if you're on an off ramp and it's
Mm.
like a bridge off ramp and you're
Yes.
turning around it, and so it's got a sharp curve that's a bridge, it makes me nervous. And I think about like, what if we were to just jet right off this thing?
Just fell right off. Okay,
Yeah.
I can feel that. My husband is the usually the driver, but yeah, because that would make it's funny because he is the driver, I'm sort of out of practice. Like I still will drive on highways and stuff, but since I met him, he drives the big drives. So now when I do it, I'm like, "Ooh, it's been like several months since I've done this," and you kind of get like in your head about that.
Yep.
Um, Coffee or tea? I guess your tea.
I'm a tea drinker. I've never drank coffee. I've never liked it. I love the smell of it, but I hate the taste of it.
Interesting.
I started as a healthcare professional when I found out tea was so healthy for you. I
Yeah.
started just forcing myself to drink it. So
Okay.
there are select teas that I like.
Okay.
I'm not like a general tea drinker, but I mostly like I'll have a cup of tea in the morning, I have water all day, and I have a glass of wine at night. And that's
Okay.
like
And that's your line. Okay.
yep, I'm almost like Jesus. The water and the wine are my
I
favorite.
mean, pretty close. You're pretty close. Basically like the second coming.
Just favorite drinks. That's our thing.
Wine, tea, The I am a coffee person, but I will drink tea from time to time. I don't really keep it in my house, but I'm not against it. My mom is a tea drinker, but I didn't start drinking coffee until I started working as a teacher, which I guess makes
Mm.
sense. But I never drank it in college or anything, but I do like coffee. Favorite nickname that somebody has given to you and why did they give it to you?
Oh, probably the one that's like the most nostalgic for me would be my mom and my dad used to call me Beanie because they
Okay.
said I was like teeny tiny like a beanpole when I was
Okay.
younger. So it was
Cute.
always just like my little like I was Beanie.
Beanie.
And we used to laugh because my dad did nicknames for everyone, and I was Beanie, and my middle sister, for very appropriate reasons, was Stinky.
Oh, okay.
And
I think I'd
so,
rather be Beanie. I think you probably
yeah,
lucked
much
out on that
I
one. I
really lucked out in the nickname category.
think you did.
So we used to be, my dad would be the one that would bring us to the mall,
Okay.
and my sister and I would be in a store. He'd wait outside, and then when he was done, he'd go up to the store and he'd go, Beanie, Stinky,
Oh
let's
my
go. And
gosh.
we'd be like 14, and she was like, Dad, you gotta stop calling
You
me
have to stop
Stinky.
yelling stinky. That's really funny. Does he still call you that? Is he
Nope, they don't
They
anymore.
don't. That's funny. When did they stop?
Oh, I probably was like 16, maybe.
Okay. Maybe after he
Yeah.
did it one too many times in the mall to your sister. Maybe he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all right, maybe I gotta stop and go back to their names. That's cute. I like Beanie. You could still be Beanie.
yeah.
Two more. What is your favorite sport to watch? Because I know you like lots of sports. So what's your favorite? And did you play
Uh,
sports? I'm assuming you played sports as a.
so I played basketball and field hockey. I
Okay.
love watching basketball, but
Okay.
I'm a huge New England Patriots fan. I watch
Oh.
every single New England Patriots football game.
Mm.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's where our similarities end.
She's
Well,
like, and the podcast is in.
and we were having such a good time. But we did on our way home from Boston this summer, they were having like Patriots training camp and we did stop. So I really
Oh,
can't be
there you
like
go.
that upset about it. We stopped and got all the like swag. And then my husband was like, okay, now we have to give it away. My son was like, what do you mean? He's like, you can't wear a Patriots headband. Like, are you insane? And he's like, you like the Eagles. And he's like, but I really like free stuff. He's like, yeah, and you got to enjoy it. Now we're gonna donate it. So I think all the
Now
Patriots
it's a
stuff.
fire starter.
Yeah, he was like, now we're done with it because we're back in Pennsylvania. So we went
Yeah.
back to Go Birds. But so I'm sorry, so you're a Patriots fan and you like to watch basketball.
Yeah, so I watch every single Patriots game. I don't
Okay.
miss one. But when
Okay.
it comes to like if it's a sport that I played that I love, it's basketball.
Okay. I like to watch basketball too. I feel like it moves fast. Like I
Yes.
kind of lose interest, but I'm like, basketball, number one, I understand the rules. Yay. Number two, um, it moves quickly. Like I hate the sports where you're like, why is everybody like huddling up again? Or why are they
Yeah.
back in the like dugout? Can we just keep playing?
Yeah. Let's just
All
go to
right.
the next round.
Yeah, like can we just keep this moving? And basketball moves. So that's what I like.
Yep.
Last question. Do you have a favorite TV show?
Ooh. Of all time?
Or of right now? Up to you. Whatever.
Well, right now I don't watch anything because I have no time to watch TV.
Fair
Of
enough.
all time, it would probably be either Game of Thrones
Okay.
or Outlander.
Oh, I didn't see either one. Okay.
Oh, you never watched Game of Thrones?
No.
Was that not big where you live?
Was it on? No, it was. Was that on HBO?
I think so.
I think we didn't have it at the time. We have HBO now,
Okay.
but we didn't have it then. So I'm like, oh well. I was gonna
But
go.
Outlander is another really, really good
I
one.
have heard people talk about that. Somebody told me about it in like great detail one time, probably in the last year, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that was what it was about." And I was like, "That does sound kind of interesting." So maybe when we're finished watching like Bluey and whatever else we watch at my house, the Phillies, maybe in like 10 years I'll watch these shows.
There you
We'll
go.
see.
Yeah, we'll put them on a
Put them on a
reminder on
list
your
with
phone.
all the other things I'm going to do in 10 years.
Yep.
Well, Krista, thank you so much for being here and for sharing so many helpful, practical travel tips. I think this is going to make a lot of moms feel a little more confident heading into their next trip. And remember, it'll turn into a good story. So even if it's awful while it's happening, it's going to be funny in 10 years. And listeners, remember to follow Krista at the Sports PT Mama on Instagram. And again, I will link and tag you in all the posts so people will be able to find you easily. And to our listeners, if you have been feeling overwhelmed about traveling with your kids, hopefully this episode gave you a few ideas and a few funny stories and reminded you that it doesn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and follow on Instagram and Facebook at MomsWork Podcast. And you can listen, follow, and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Krista, thanks again for being
Thank you
here.
so much. This was a blast.
I know it was great to actually get to meet you and talk and help
I know
everybody with
this
their
is great.
travels this summer. Thank you.